You're tuned in to a Grown Folks production. In mix with the commish, Nate.
Hey now, welcome everybody to Press Pass Live, your weekly OMFL podcast show. I'm the Commissioner Nate. Thanks for hanging out with me. I think I might be flying solo today. I don't know what happened to my guy Trey. Oh no, he's in here. There's Trey.
Hello.
Trey, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good.
Trey snuck in here. I did not know he was here, but we are ready to rock and roll. Trey, are you ready to talk playoffs for season 105?
Yes and no.
Oh, you're fine. Let's talk playoffs for season 105, and let's get right into it. So let's get over which way we want to go. Let's start with the NFC. We always start over at the AFC. I want to start a little bit different today. Oh, look at that. EA just kicked me right out of the franchise. So let's sign back in, and then we'll get started. While we're kind of getting ramped up here, getting re-logged back in thanks to EA's servers, any favorite games from this past week? Anything caught your eye that you were watching?
Nothing that really caught my eye, but I know a couple teams that, could have solidified themselves in a playoff spot, but they slipped. So now it leaves the door open for some teams.
It does leave the door open, and we're going to talk about this. Let's start with arguably, I know that Denver is going to get upset about this, but arguably the hardest division in all of the OMFL, and that's the NFC. I mean, it is just murders roll over here. You've got double-digit teams in wild card spots. That's just how outstanding things are right here. Currently,
there's going to be double-digit teams not making the playoffs.
I know. It's nuts. San Francisco is your number 1 seed. The number 2 seed is the Chicago Bears. Currently, still a lot of football left to be played. 2 more advances and a couple of games left here tonight in the current week. The Atlanta Falcons are your number 7 seed. Number 3 seed are the Dallas Cowboys. The number 6 seed are the Washington Commanders. That's just crazy to me. The number 4 seed is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm nipping at his heels, though. And the number 5 seed is my New Orleans Saints. But a lot of other teams just like right there on the cusp, fighting it out, trying to get in there. Let's talk about the NFC first. What do you see happening over here? Which one of these teams stay in their current position? Which one of these teams sneak in that are just right on the outside looking in?
I hate it because I'm in the worst spot of this all because I lost to 2 of those wild card spots. So I'm fighting a very uphill battle in terms of knocking on the front door. I need, Bird or Falcons to slip here in the final few weeks.
Let's talk about those teams real fast. I should have named those out. So I've got the Seattle Seahawks at 8-6, Detroit Lions at 9-6, and Los Angeles Rams, they're hanging in there at 7-7. So those are our teams like right on the edge here.
I think I'm assuming it's going to be for the Seahawks versus the Niners this week. Rams and Panthers, I assume that I've already played one. I'm sitting there for next week, and the Bears and the Commanders are the final game this week. So if we're looking at that, if the Bears win, that would put you to the 4 or the 5 seed. No, 4 seed. Right? No.
No, Tampa Bay, yeah, they would still be 4.
So that would open up. Yeah, it's just a whole different can of worms. Honestly, I feel I have the best shot to make it to the wild card from the outside looking in, but I just don't think with all the slip-ups that I've made this season that I think you pretty much you have your 7 wild playoff teams for the NFC right there.
Atlanta Falcons have Jets and Minnesota Vikings. So we know Maniac is starting to kind of find his stride. He a little hit and miss, but Maniac, I see you. You're finding your stride a little bit here and there. The Jets, we know what Kobe can do. He's going to be, shaking off some rust as he comes back here. Kevin, that's going to be a big decision here for the NFC South. He still has the Jets left on his schedule. I've got D-Money next week and then followed by the Bills in week number 18. So it's just going to be a crazy tough schedule for me. And then the Seahawks really quick have wrong button. Let's hit the right button here. The Seahawks have the Baltimore Ravens and Los Angeles Rams. So that's going to decide a lot for those teams that are just like right on the cusp fighting it out. I don't know which way to go here because there is still a lot to be decided with some of these seeding opportunities, especially with the NFC South. So number 4 all the way down is really, really in the air. I don't know that we can get 3 teams from the NFC South in the playoffs. I could go on a massive losing streak here playing 2 of the top owners in the entire OMFL. Washington Commanders.
Nick, you want the good news?
What's that?
I can tell you now you're in.
Numbers wise?
Yes, because I'm the highest thing and you have the tiebreaker over me.
That's true. Well, we'll have to see exactly where all these teams fall. Commanders Bears tonight's going to be massive, right? There's a lot of shakeup that could happen right here. You're saying it's going to stay put. I'm not quite as confident in that with the Atlanta Falcons.
The seedings are locked. I think the teams are locked.
I like what Bronco Man has finally found his stride again. I do find it funny. Bronco and I had lots of conversations last season about Ritter, and then Ritter's leading the number 1 seed AFC team over there, and he's like, I just can't win with this guy, and it's like, oh, okay. It's just funny how like different players in different people's hands plays completely different. But anyway, I want to go Falcons, but man, that's going to be a big time game. Is Kobe checked in? Is he resting some guys? Is he trying? Like, just a lot to be decided there. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you sneak in. All of the seeding as we see it stays. You get in with that number 7 seed, at least just to make for an interesting conversation. So we like the seeding over here. Let's jump over to the AFC, talk seeding. We'll break down the AFC matchups, pop back over to the NFC matchups, and then we're just going to fast forward and get through divisional round, conference round, bowl round, and then we'll flip-flop between both of those two. Let's get over here and talk AFC seeding now. Currently, the way it falls is you've got the Indianapolis Colts at your number 1 seed, the number 2 seed Buffalo Bills against the number 7 seed Kansas City Chiefs, who have been on quite the run, the number 3 seed Cincinnati Bengals against the number 6 seed New York Jets, the number 4 seed Pepper and his Chargers against the number 5 seed, might be the hardest number 5 seed that we've ever seen here in the Cleveland Browns. On the bubble currently, you've got the Miami Dolphins at 7. My old eyes can't see the 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
Pittsburgh Steelers, their CPU, they're going to fall away. Denver Broncos also sitting at 7 and 8. So Denver and Miami, the 2 teams kind of fighting there. Kansas City's 8 and 7. Jets are 9 and 6, but I think they're going to be back at the next advance and playing their games again. Do you see any of these teams changing, any of these seeding changing?
I don't see much of a seeding change. The first seed, I think, is for sure locked up, and I think the 5th seed's for sure locked up. With it being the 5th seed will be whichever the AFC North team loses. Yeah. I was going to say there could be a little flip-flop there because Cincinnati and Cleveland play each other next advance. Yeah. And I think the Chiefs will fall off, and I think the Dolphins will sneak in. Wow. Okay. So Kansas City, they have... Let's see if we can pull this up really quick. They currently have the Washington Commanders. That's going to be a tough one. And
Pepper and the Chargers. Pepper's going to be fighting. So he's got 2 games that those guys are going to still be fighting and clawing. On the other side, the Miami Dolphins, who represented the AFC in OMFL Bowl number 104, he has, I want to say he's got Tampa Bay. Yeah, he does. So he's got the Patriots and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay may still be fighting out for a seed. So at least one of those games, there's still something to fight for. And if I know anything that I think I know about Lost Sniper, he ain't giving anybody anything. He's going to be fighting for it all the way. So, one would say Kansas City seems to have a little bit of a rougher go at it, but Miami has not had the season that he expected to have, sitting at 7-8. So you think Miami's going to sneak in? I've got Kansas City holding it down. I think it's going to come to the very, very end here. I like the seeding as we see, except for Cleveland and Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati owes his buddy in Cleveland one. I think we're going to see those 2 teams flip-flop there. So I like everybody else to say the same exactly how we see it right here.
The only reason, Nate, I question, and me and Shocks, we played this week, and here's why I feel a slip will happen. He collapsed on epic proportions.
That's what I heard.
He gave up a before half kickoff return touchdown plus the 2-point conversion, and then just had no offense in the second half. It was the kind of the reverse of how I've been being humbled as of late. I was the one doing the humbling.
Well, we'll have to see.
I just don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he can hold on.
There.
I like, though, that he's been winning, and he did find a way to get back into this season. But so is Miami, and Miami's still right there. And we've seen the run that the Miami Dolphins and Massimo went on last time. And last show, if I remember correctly, I called for him to make it into the playoffs. Just picking how I'd like to see it kind of play out. I think it'd be fun to see Kansas City get in there. Let's talk matchups, okay? So if the wild card plays out the way that you see it, we got Bears, Falcons, Dallas Commanders, Bucks, Saints for the 3rd time this season. The way I would have it, I would have Bears, Lions for the 3rd time this season, Cowboys, Commanders, Saints, Bucks for the 3rd time. I just think that would make for an epic wild card round. You never know what happens whenever we get into there. Give me your winners. Yeah, the best of 3s are so tough. Give me your winners coming out of your wild card round weekend.
Go Bears, Cowboys, Saints.
Any shockers there? Any big scores? You think these are close games?
I think the Saints and Bucks could be a very high scoring matchup or a very low scoring matchup. It has the ability to be either way.
I just don't match up well against this team. I can't quite figure it out. The first game I feel like I should have won. That game was crazy. You got to go watch it. It'll be a game where we rewatch this summer with commentary. I'm going to rewatch my own OMFL Classic. Just a stupid game. And then this past 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, we played, and it took a kick return, leading kick return, I might brag and pat myself on the back about, to get us back in that game, give us a really late lead. We ended up getting a nice 4th down stop there to win that one. I'm just going to pick with my head here. I like Tampa Bay to win that game. Commanders, Dallas, I want to hold on to and come back to. And then I'd have Detroit versus Chicago. And boy, that would be a dogfight, man. You would have fought your way to get into the playoffs. The Bears have had quite the season here. As busy as he has just been on a roll with this team. I would pick Chicago to win that one. I just think that getting to fight that hard to get into the playoffs, it does lead to, like, all the things kind of have to fall your way. I just feel like Chicago's defense, offense, like, he's just rocking and rolling at home, gives you another layer to have to overcome. I like the Chicago Bears to win that one. So I got Bears and Bucks. And then going back to the other game, Dallas Cowboys, man, he has felt unstoppable. I don't know how I beat him that one game. The one game I didn't stream. I just streamed without face cam or whatever. I ended up somehow coming away with a win in that one. He just has these formations that he brings out that puts so much pressure on you to make a play. His run game seems unstoppable. He is normal Dwayne efficient when it comes to the pass game, but you have to give it to Bird and what he has taken over there in Washington with the Commanders. They have fit him really well. He has just been on a roll playing. I mean, this is an 11 or maybe 12 win team. I got it right here. He's a 10-win team, 10-4 currently, 10-win team, big matchup. I would say that matchup tonight against the Bears is going to tell me a lot about what I'm going to see against Dallas. If I have to pick it right now, though, I got to go Dallas just because I played him and he felt so unstoppable. So I got Bears, I got Cowboys, I got Bucks.
Here's the kicker to that, Nate. They play Week 18.
These two teams?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're not showing each other nothing. There's no way. I think we're gonna see lots of backups, lots of vanilla, I formation, Nate's offense, I formation, just hammer it right up the middle. Like there's no way that either one of those guys show each other. That's tough, man. To play Week 18, kicker, have to come back in the wild card. Whew.
Here's the kicker for Bird. If he loses to the Bears and the Chiefs and I can somehow get a momentum streak going, he needs that win.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Tonight is such a pivotal matchup. Would be a fun one to call. I don't know if I'll have time to call that one. I got to find out what time they're playing.
I don't think you're calling at 10 o'clock at night, Nate. 10 Eastern.
Oh, no, I might. 10 Eastern. I don't know. We'll see. So I got Bears. I got Cowboys. I got Bucks. You've got Saints, Cowboys, Bears, and that's going to be our NFC. So if it played out that way for you, it would be Bears, Cowboys in the divisional round, Saints, 49ers in the divisional round. How would you see that playing out?
Bears and 49ers.
Easy games?
No, those are... Well, hold on. Depends what kind of D money we get.
Yeah, that's true.
Get the D money that's kind of, okay, this is the final season. You should put the upset on him. Because we've seen what happens when it comes to the final season, him in the playoffs. He just kind of plays. Like, it's a game.
I would say.
It gives you the opportunity to sneak in the back door, because you've done it to him before.
I have. I am not on D-Money's Christmas list this year. He is not very happy with me about the re-sign rule that was broken by several teams. So I have a feeling that he may go easy on everybody not named Nate. We'll have to see how that one plays out. I would have Bears, Cowboys, Bucks. That would put Bears, Cowboys. That would be an epic game. Bucks, 49ers. That could be a really fun one for Kevin. I would pick Kevin in an upset for probably the same reasons that you would have picked maybe me or D-Money, to kind of depending on what happens in that one. I would pick him for the same reason. I think that the Bucks have the firepower. He's making plays on defense. It's really, really hard to run on him. 49ers are not having the greatest run season in the world. And now that I've said that, he's going to hang 300 yards on me after the next advance. But, man, Cowboys, Bears, I mean, just who wouldn't sign up to watch that one? I would only hope that we would get –
this season.
I want a snow game, though. I want a snow game in Chicago. Just nasty. Both these guys just running it down each other's throats, playing great defense. I would have to pick Dallas, though, in that one.
Well, I don't know what the weather was like, but they faced off in week 14, and the Bears won 41-23.
That's a crazy game there. Where was that one at? Was that in Chicago or Dallas?
That was in Chicago.
Well, there might be a little revenge on the brain.
Dominated and still got their butts kicked.
So I would have Tampa Bay, Dallas in the NFC Championship game. Who would you have?
I would have the Bears and the 49ers.
Bears, 49ers. Who's representing the NFC in OMFL Bowl 105?
North is going for 2.
Is that it?
Okay.
That's all you're gonna give me?
Yeah, it's the North going for two. I think this is the time that Kurt's gonna make a point here. He saw what I did last year. He had to make the point because his whole bragging point last season was I have one, you have zero. Well, now it's 1-1. So now he's got to turn one up me again.
Yeah, probably so. Another guy that I'm probably not on his Christmas list. That would be a fun matchup between those two teams. I would have Kevin against Dwayne, and boy, I think Dwayne is such I don't know. He's a competitive guy and he doesn't like to lose, but sometimes he's a nice guy and he likes to let other people have an opportunity. I don't know what Dwayne we would get in an NFC Championship game because we haven't seen the Dallas Cowboys host that one up in quite some time. Something tells me he's ready to get him another one. I would pick the Dallas Cowboys, even though it would be fun to see another NFC South team representative in the OMFL Bowl for season 105. So I have the Dallas Cowboys going all the way, which is a bit of a boring pick. I feel like maybe I pick them or the 49ers every year. Nate's got to mix it up a little bit. You've got Big Hurt and the Chicago Bears. Let's get over here to the AFC side and talk about them a little bit. I've got it playing out exactly as we see here, except with the flip-flop of the Bengals and the Browns. You have a minor change of Kansas City taking that 7th seed, or falling out of that 7th seed, and the Miami Dolphins taking that. Do you also see a flip-flop with the Bengals and Browns, or how do you see that one playing out?
Let me go take a look to see what the previous matchup is, and I'll give you
Well, while you're looking at Bills, Miami Dolphins, I want to say we seen this one in the AFC Championship, if I'm not wrong, last season. It was an epic game that just went, it was crazy high scoring. Miami was on that quite the run in the OMFL playoffs of season 104. He just kind of went on a run, was playing great offense and came away with a massive victory. And then Buffalo also gave up a lot of points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Tampa Bay said it took a blocked field goal to get him back in that game. I don't know what happens in the playoffs. It just seems like he's like one half step from getting there. But I think whether it's Kansas City or whether it is the Miami Dolphins in that number 7 spot, I like the Buffalo Bills to win that game. It would be Browns versus Jets, a rematch of OMFL Bowl. What was that? 101, 102, something like that. When the Jets owner, Kobe, was over with the Atlanta Falcons, Kobe came away with the victory. He was running away with that game. Denbrew had to come back in that game. I like Denbrew to have a little bit of some revenge on the mind here, especially with the Jets and Kobe going on some vacation time. Sometimes it takes you a little bit to get back in the groove. I like Denbrew to win that one. And then the Cincinnati Bengals, the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm taking the Bengals in that one. I love that Pepper's gotten on a roll here, got his team playing the way we expect Pepper to be playing. But Little Koch, openly, I will own this, just doesn't get nearly the respect that he deserves whenever we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. He has been a just stay powerhouse, AFC top 3-4 seed every single season. Like, he's played really good football since going over to the Cincinnati Bengals. I like him coming out of that one. So I got Buffalo, I got Browns, I got Cincinnati Bengals. Now I'm tossing it to you.
Yeah, after looking, I agree. The Cincinnati and Cleveland will flip-flop. So that would put me with Bills versus Dolphins. I'm going to say Moss does not get to go on the miracle run again, and will fall to Bill. I will say Kobe will get checked back in and win a close one, and I will say Koch gets past Pepper, because Koch just feels like he's that. It feels like the underdog story this time around will be Koch instead of Massimo.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that there might be something there. I like what you're on there. So for me, that would lead to a Buffalo Bill versus the Cleveland Browns in the divisional round, and then the Bengals.
Yeah.
No, the Cincinnati would, because they would flip-flop for me, right? So Cincinnati would be the lower seed. He's going to play the Colts. Yeah, I'm confusing everybody. So I got Colts, Bengals, Browns, Bills, all the B's that you could think of. I don't know what to think of the Colts. Like, I played him, and what he does with Mike Thomas and Ritter are just like jaw dropping, but it just doesn't, like, your brain looks at the stats and looks at the players and they're like, this doesn't make sense. Like, sooner or later, the reality's got to set in for these guys, and they just don't. He just wins in dominant fashion. Like, the numbers he's put up with Thomas and Ritter are just crazy. That offense, but there's a piece of me that's just like, sooner or later, right? This has to catch up to him. I think it doesn't here. I want to go with the Cinderella story. I want to go with the Bengals, but I feel like as much as I maybe don't give Little Koch enough respect, it would be disrespectful not giving the number one seed, who has clearly earned every piece of it in the AFC, some respect. Give me the Colts to move on to the AFC Championship game. Then the next game. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Two just dogs that are going to get in a kennel and just eat each other alive. Buffalo's going to be at home. That's going to help him in this one. The weather could be ugly, but Cleveland Browns have won so many of these big-time games, including championships, and Bill has just like fallen slightly short every single time. Until he doesn't fall short, I got to give my nod to the guy who's been in those big games, knows how to come back on the road, knows how to win the big game, knows how to win the championship. Give me Browns and Colts in the AFC for the championship. Who do you have in the divisional round?
So my matchups will be Bill versus Little Koch and Kobe versus Cincy. I think Koch
Koch would go play the Colts in your scenario because he would have the lowest seed at 6. No? Oh no, I'm sorry, you're right. That he would be 5. That's right. Okay.
I think Koch could steal that one. I honestly do, just because, like you said, Bill's had that. He gets straight there, and then almost like the ladder falls out from underneath him. And I think that'll go to Koch's benefit. And I think, as much as I want to go with my buddy Kobe, I think since he's on something. And I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 teams that are going to be able to stop him. And I don't know if he's even an AFC team that could do it.
Yep, that would be some fun matchup. So your championship game would be Colts
and Bengals.
Colts-Bengals. That would be a fun matchup and one I don't think that we have seen in the AFC. So I've got Colts-Browns. You've got Colts-Bengals. Got a little common denominator there in the Colts. And I was a big believer in what he did last year. And this year, it felt like he downgraded in some key areas, and yet he's playing what feels like 10 times better this entire season. And so I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts to get there. I just think there's something about what he's doing with Mike Thomas. Ritter's clicking. It's not going to shock me if the Browns win this one. Guys know how much I respect Denbrew as a human, much less an owner and a player here. It would be fun to see Denbrew get to another championship as we close out Madden 23 and maybe even, win him another one. That would be just a fun storybook ending to Madden 23. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the favorite here. He's been dominant all season. Denbrew, like last season, started off slow and then went on a run. And last year, I thought that run was going to lead him all the way, and it kind of failed him when it got to the playoffs. I think we're going to see something similar. Give me the Colts to represent the AFC. So I've got Colts and Cowboys in the OMFL Bowl number 105. What do you see happening?
I want to give it to Kocher just because I want. This cycle it's been the run of Cinderella stories. I want to give it to that, but I just can't. Since he's just on too much of a hot streak, and it's going to be a miracle for anybody to stop him that's not, D-Money, D-Wayne.
You've got the Colts, Bears, right? Do I have that right? Colts, Bears. I've got Colts, Dallas. OMFL Bowl. It's got a common denominator in the Colts. We'll see if he can prove us right and go all the way and ride this hot streak into a possible championship game. I see D-Money, D-Wayne, I don't know why I said D-Money. I got D-Money on the brain, but I see D-Wayne hoisting another championship. I don't know if he's hungry for one. I'm guessing this. I'm assuming this. Just playing him. He was so unstoppable. He just played so spectacularly. I could just see him itching for another championship. He wants to hoist that, add it to his little collection that he's got going on over there in his little office. I got the Dallas Cowboys winning OMFL Bowl number 105 and closing out this season. What do you have happening?
I want to give it to Hurt. I really do, because I cool the division that's been buried the most because we can't make it out of the playoffs. Goes and wins back to back. That would be just great. However, I think they know each other so well that it's going to be a chess match, and Hurt has enough time stopping Jameson Williams. Now you're losing the speed, but you're getting a guy that can run a route. I think that's going to be enough to cause enough issues for Cincy to end up with the win.
Cincy gets him a championship, another one. He hasn't had one since the Cincinnati Bengals day. I'm starting to think Cincinnati Bengals might have the most championships overall here in the OMFL. There might be a couple other teams that are pushing him, but quite the matchup. That's our predictions. Thank you, Maniac, for giving your predictions in the chat. I'd love to hear any other predictions that folks may or may not have, but let's get over here and open up the OMFL mailbag. That's right, it's mailbag time, and we got quite the questions here.
Podcast.
Oh, look at there. My controller's like, nope, I'm done. Okay, let's get over here and open up the OMFL mailbag and look at a couple of these. This was from last week. Rookie who has shined. One rookie who shined in season 105 and one rookie who's been a bit of a disappointment. Any rookies shining or disappointing you? Did I lose you? Uh-oh, I lost him. Okay, give him a moment to get back over here. I think the disappointment part is a little bit harder in this one, just because that means you got to remember exactly where people were picked. And to be honest, that feels impossible. And I would say it's hard to consider, what players you consider successes and what players you don't. Oh, there's Trey. Trey's back. Trey, did you hear the question tossed out there for you? Hello? Trey? Hello? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave because I don't know if he can hear me for whatever reason and see if that works. I don't know. Sometimes Discord on PlayStation, they're still figuring it out. Trey, you with us? Trey? Oh, I see what happened. Hold on, friends. I think we might be coming back. There we go. I see what happened. What happened was when the controller dies because Discord is on PlayStation, it disconnects you. So my bad, Trey. I was the one who caused all of that. We were talking about rookies. Maniac's asking one that is a disappointment and one that shined. Let's start with the ones that were a disappointment. Any of these guys a disappointment for you?
Disappointing rookies this season.
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, I felt like this season there wasn't many projected starters coming out of the draft for. I think everybody was locked and loaded. There's a few of the bottom teams that were fighting, but I can't really go out and predict and say, there was, uh, a downside one. If I had to, I'd have to say, Chandler Spence having 26 interceptions. But even then, he still had a great season.
Yeah, the disappointment one's tough for me too. Like I was saying, when we got disconnected, it would take also like fully remembering exactly where everybody got drafted, and that's for me. It's impossible to keep track of. I would say now some of them that were having a great season or that shined. I'm gonna go with one a little bit sort of unknown, and the stats will not back me up on this, but it's so easy just to look at the stats and kind of pick guys with the best stats. But there's a guy down in New England named Cole Fickle, and when I played him, this kid was gashing me, was not a starter on his team. He and I talked after, and I'm like, brother, you're not going to make the playoff. You got to play this kid. This kid is just playing way beyond his attributes, and I love when Madden players do that. Cole Fickle, in my opinion, has had an outstanding season. Only 600 yards on the season, but has not been a starter for at least 3/4 of the season. He's one of the guys that really has caught my eye as a guy who has shined. Who's some of your players that have shined?
One guy that I got a first-hand experience with, and you got to abuse the the right tackle. Your left end there, Mr. Kyle Franklin. He's having quite a stellar season with 21 solo tackles, 20 assisted, 17 tackles for a loss, and 12 sacks. As a rookie, he's pretty good at that.
Yeah, he's played like a lot of defensive ends that kind of come in bunches, but he's played really good here at the end. I would give another nod to Parker Colt. Again, the player didn't fit with Ritter with him. He goes out and gets Parker Colt. Probably not. If we had to pick a disappointment, he could fall in both, right? I think he's been an improvement because the Falcons are winning. They're a 10-win team. They're going to be a double-digit win team. They might make the playoffs here, and it's been led by Parker Colt. He's outstanding. I think, small caveat, if you wanted to consider him a disappointment, he did go, number 1 overall, and he is not the number 1 stat-wise quarterback, in the current stats of our rookie leaders, but I think he's played outstanding. He's made all the difference. He's accurate. I think a lefty, if I remember correctly. He's just played really, really good for Atlanta. You got any more?
Well, I had one that kind of shocked me on my own team. Juan Wall. I drafted him. Didn't really think I'd use him. And then I went into my bye week needing some sort of change to help the defense out. And this man took over the starting job and has kind of, pushed himself into a Rookie of the Year contendership with it. He's fast. He can catch the ball. He can pass rush. And that's something I'm not used to at middle linebacker.
Yeah, I love whenever guys just play beyond their limits. I've got a couple of those players as well, and they're fun to have out there. His second question, name an import player from Madden 22 that has greatly impacted the league this Madden. I feel like this could be an easy conversation, but I'm interested to hear who you're picking here.
I think I changed everything with Alex Belton, but that's up for discussion. The real one is I ended up signing a free agency, and I think Ben Wright decided to show things that if you develop a pass rusher, you might want to bring them along.
I would love to sit here and be selfish about my team, but the fact is, as amazing as this guy has played, he has not made the biggest impact. And that would be Logan Rhodes, who I think is finally having the season that I thought he would. He's having such a good season, it's made me go, ooh, do I bring him with me and let him retire next Madden? That's a little bit of a tougher ask. I got to go with what I think is the easy one, and that's Kenny Pickerson. That's what his name is in the league. It's Dickerson. I don't care what Madden says. It wouldn't let us name him Dickerson. How can you not? Gets him all the way to OMFL Bowl number 104. just breaking records, putting up all kinds of crazy numbers. This guy can throw it. He can run it. He can sense pressure. Kenny Dickerson does it all, in my opinion, and just is one of the top imports that we have ever seen, and I think will easily go into the OMFL Hall of Fame. I think we got a couple more here. Cincyberg, he says, what's your take on weekly strategy, the practice, full pads, starters, etc.? Do you find it worthy to try and get max points, or do you do minimum and try avoid taking injury? What did the Detroit Lions do?
Up until about week 9 or 10, I'm full pad starters. Because 9 times out of 10, I have young guys starting, and I want to get them to develop as fast as possible. After that point, I'm like half pads backup because I don't want to risk my starters getting hurt. It's coming to the clutch points of the season. I need my team healthy and ready to go for a long and hopeful playoff run.
Yeah, I'm the other way. I am half pads, split reps between starters and backup. I'd rather spread the XP out. I would rather build kind of my backups a little bit. I don't want to have an injury. I want my starters to get that XP in the games because they're actually there playing. It could be argued, though, that usually those injuries are short-term just for a game, and so maybe it's worth that gamble. I've just seen too many teams go into big-time games, sharp players that you lost just chasing a little bit of XP, and it's not even a ton more. So I like to split it, and I like to avoid the injuries, and I can't remember if I've had an injury in practice this entire Madden, so I think that's worked out for me just a little bit. Kevin says half pad split for me, not worth an injury. Bill says pick a Dickerson. And we got Shocks over here in the chat. Good to see you, Shocks. We were just talking about your team. Last one, then we're going to wrap it up, put a bow in the show. Nate and Trey Dimbrew ask, as a regular season is winding down, I was wondering how your team has performed versus your expectations headed into this season. I think this might be very interesting to hear from you.
I had high expectations, and injuries played a huge factor in those expectations not being met. I still could right the ship, but I'm not in control of my playoffs like I normally am. I'm gonna need help from people, and whether I get that or not will determine if I make the play. Control my own destiny. If I can win some games in the playoffs again and prove that last year wasn't just fluke luck, then my expectations would be.
Yeah, I don't know that I had expectations on my team this year. Last year we got on a bit of a run, started to figure some things out. I never really have expectations of making it to championships here. Teams are just so good and players are so great. It's just so hard to play against the D-Moneys, the D-Waynes, like the Trey, like Big Hurts. Like, they're just so hard. Why do I keep saying like? I don't know. I pick up on little stupid words like that I say and try not to do them. But anyhow, I kind of went into this season knowing winning the division the way I did last season, I was going to have a tough schedule. Looking at it, it was a brutal and still is brutal as it ends with T-Money and Bill to end the season here and try to stay in that playoff hunt. Nobody's helping me with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If y'all could please win a game against this guy, help me out just a little bit. So I think that they have played beyond my expectations. Started out terrible. The wheels fell off early. But I feel like we found our stride here in the second half of the season, and I'm on quite the human game winning streak. I did lose to the CPU Jets, but that's because I refused to play a full CPU game and face 85 shotgun runs for an hour of my life. I'm not doing it, so I do play the moments, and play the moments is a crapshoot. And the two moments I got, or, two pivotal moments that I got thrown in, I was having to force passes on like third and longs. And I threw some picks and ended up losing against the CPU. So I think my team has played right at my expectations. Terrible to start, beyond the expectations, averages out to like kind of right where I expected them to be. All right, let's put a bow on the show. Thank you for your questions, everyone. Thank you for the chat. I see you. I appreciate you. Trey, put a bow on the show as we get ready for season 105 playoffs.
Well, we've announced that this was the year our final season. I think, we've got 2 advances left for half of us. Let's try and get those. It'd be cool to try and get this done by Sunday. Let's get to the playoffs by Sunday, and let's have fun while doing so. I think, we've been through a lot this season, and I think we all just need a break from Madden. And take your off season from Madden and enjoy life. We're finally being able to go back and do stuff. Enjoy life, enjoy people, and if you have connections with people in the OMFL, keep chatting with them in the off season, and then revitalize yourself for August when we all go clashing heads again.
Yeah, my bow would be around the same type of vein. If you love playing and you're still having a good time, you're not burnt out, you don't need a break, keep playing with us. We're going to have tournaments. I've already started talking to Lost Sniper. The Deuce is going to be wrapping up if Little Koch will let you, and you want to go jump in over there and maybe make a run with a playoff team so he doesn't have as many CPU teams. I think they're in week like 12 or something like that. Go jump over there. We're going to host some tournaments with some prizes. I got to figure out exactly what the budget will allow us to do for prizes. We're all like 50% off Mag games. No, I feel like I'm giving enough imports with the 3 options already for imports, but there'll be some fun
I'm just saying
things.
that because I lost out on one.
It happens. But you'll have an opportunity to also just take the break. I know some of you just have been begging for a break. It's a couple owners that you barely got through this Madden. I appreciate it. You got through it, and we all kind of just need to take a step back, take a breath, and let's hit 24 rolling. If you are worried or thinking, worried's probably not a great word. Who cares about a Madden league? But if you're like wondering if you'll get a spot, then let's have that conversation. I will start those invites in June, so that I won't leave people hanging. You'll know in June whether you get invited back or not invited back. We got a couple TFL guys in here. I know sometimes TFL guys jump in as they wrap up and close shop and play with us to wrap up. But then when we kick off again, they go, they just full-time TFL, and that's all they have time for. I hope guys like Bird stay. Bird knows I'm a big fan of him as a human and love when he's here. And TFL plays by very similar rules, and so you guys seem to fit right on in this group. So I hope those guys continue to play. But there'll be opportunities to keep playing, also opportunities to take a break, opportunities to come try some of these other games that we play here in the Grown Folks community. We're going to do watch-alongs. We'll do all kinds of stuff, and I can't wait to do media days in July. And then we've got a couple spots to fill, so we got to go find a couple new owners. I'm still working to fill up Little Koch in that second league, which is always a challenge, but we're going to need some guys here in the OMFL with the Steelers currently being open. I'm sure we'll have team swaps and guys trading teams, and then we get to talk imports and talk Madden 24 and the news that drops from Madden 24, so all kinds of stuff. And then what I'm really excited about is we go from the end of our human, like real life 23 into 24 is we're going to get some of these new games. So we're not only getting the college game that we'll get more information about. The 2K game should start to drop, and hopefully we'll also just get information about this other game that I don't know why I'm drawing a total blank on the name right now, but the other football game, Maximum Football. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of games that we can break down, maybe play. Maybe if the Maximum allows like some online head-to-head, we could do a Maximum tournament of some sort. I don't know. There's a lot of fun ideas. I know Maniac's got some ideas, so we're going to do some fun stuff. And as Trey said, come have fun. But if you need the break, take it. No pressure, right? And I think as we move into Madden 24, The goal will be 5 seasons. We will aim for 5 seasons. This Madden was just tough. 3 rebuilds. I rebuilt the franchise 3 different times, maybe 4. I forget. All the FPR issues, the people, leaving, whatever. Leaving hasn't been as bad as it was previous Maddens, but the rebuilds have just drained me completely. So I can't wait to not do that, hopefully, in Madden 24. And just know, I'm looking at all FPR. So I'm already started conversations with the board. Is there a way to strike a balance between limiting how thick and heavy, which I don't think it is thick and heavy, but how thick and heavy maybe the rule book is, especially when it comes to off-season stuff, but also keep things fair? Like, can we strike a better balance there? And that means all of us. I'm talking especially us old timers who've been doing this for a long time. That may mean allowing some things that maybe feel uncomfortable for us, but maybe if we step back, don't have that big of effect. I'm thinking things like the 10-yard drop back. I'm thinking things like rolling past the numbers. I'm not saying those are going or not going. I'm just thinking about some of these like legacy rules. Can they go away? Do we look at the re-sign rule again? Do we look at opening up, free agency? I don't know. Like, are there things there that we can look at? But at some point, if you're going to play here, it is going to take you being engaged and knowing what we consider good gameplay. All right, guys. Trey, thank you. Thanks for hopping in on a Monday and wrapping it up. I need to go have some church and talk to some great people as we grow in our spirituality, which means I need a break and decompress from a long day at work. But I appreciate you. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Thanks for an active chat. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Trey, we'll see you next Monday, bud.
Sound good.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Come hang out with me tomorrow. Saints, D-Money. We'll see how that goes.
Smash that like and subscribe.